To not talk just about your team, but also talk about a very big.
Else going on.
There's a little something going on, and we were talking in the break here. Who are you rooting for? Who are you taking to win the World Cup, and why?
Argentina. Lionel Messi. I think he is the best player in the world right now. But not only is he the best player, he's also an unbelievable role model. Never dives, but hardly ever dives, never complains to the referee, just gets on with it. And I think for young kids growing up, that's who you want them to emulate.
And when you have a role model like that and you really look at the reaction in the communities of people coming out to celebrate their favorite teams, what do you think the World Cup means for soccer on a national level and international level, especially when we look at the Whitecaps FC?
Well, there's no doubt the global nature of our sport, I think, gives us an opportunity to grow the sport here. And when people are tuning in and they're seeing this kind of emotion, that happens, when Canada plays in the Olympics for a gold medal game. This happens pretty much every week in most of these countries, and they're very passionate about their sport. And what we're seeing at BC Place is we're seeing that now. And that for us in MLS and in Vancouver is a differentiator. I think people come to games and they're a part of a different kind of atmosphere that you don't get at the other North American sports. And that's one of the things that at the league level that we see as something that we can benefit from and continue to foster.
We talk about it all the time, Bob, that soccer truly is the most accessible sport. Mm-hmm. You almost don't even need shoes. You can just
in Brazil you don't. No, absolutely,
right? Yeah. So let's speak about this real religion that it is in Brazil and how painful that 7-1 loss to the Germans truly was for that host nation.
Well, when you throw into the equation that there were a lot of detractors in Brazil because of the amount of money that was being spent on the World Cup, as I was watching that game, my biggest concern, and I felt so badly for the Brazilian people, but my biggest concern was post-match and what was going to happen. Because when you have passionate people and they have been hit in the midsection, you wonder how they're going to, how those emotions are going to manifest themselves. And I was really happy to hear after the fact that there weren't any rioting and people were just very, very sad.
Mm-hmm. As a coach, what would you say to those players, the Brazilian players who are essentially just playing for pride tomorrow against the Netherlands to bounce back after such an embarrassment in front of their home crowd?
Well, let's take one step back. I don't think there should be a third and fourth place game. These players don't want to play in this game. Yeah. And especially as it works out for Brazil, you haven't got to the final. There's a huge amount of disappointment, and now you've got to go out and play a meaningless game. So if I'm the coach, I'm saying, look, none of us really want to be here, but we have an opportunity to at least salvage some pride. And so let's go out and let's give the fans a good note to finish on and hope that they can do that.
Cassie Campbell said it during the Olympic Games, you lose for silver and win a bronze, so maybe they can go in with that sort of feeling.
Exactly.
So do you do predictions when it comes to these big games? Are you
poorly? Yeah. I'm hardly ever right. So
Brazil versus the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Oh, the third place game.
Yeah. With no Neymar,
I'm thinking that Brazil actually will get it right for this essentially meaningless game.
Right. Hopefully the fans will be rewarded somewhat. And
then Sunday, of course, we have the final, and we should mention Whitecaps FC back in action. There you go, Germany, Argentina, Sunday. Saturday night, and another important matchup. Still in the playoff picture, the Whitecaps are. Nice little spread on LA Galaxy. What are your predictions for Saturday night?
Well, if we can play like we did against Seattle last week, and although the scoreline didn't reflect it, I thought that it was a bounce-back game for us because we had two poor games against Montreal and Colorado after the World Cup break, and I thought we played really well last week. And if we can continue to play in that fashion, then I think we can get ourselves a result.
If it's 30 degrees, do you leave the roof open at BC Place?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Won't go for the air conditioning. We're gonna
go for the real deal.
Absolutely.
Get those misting spray bottles out there and a win for the Whitecaps FC.
Hopefully so.
Thanks for coming as always.
Thank you very much.
And it's going to be a fun weekend for soccer all around.
Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Busy.